Hi there, co-educators. My name is Annie, and I would love to share with you the knowledge I accumulated over a 26-year period about the hemispheric specialization and its influence on my lesson plans and study. Would it not have been nice for every student in your class to come with a how to handle it yourself teacher's manual with all the know-how and the insights needed for that specific student? Every child is uniquely different and must be treated differently, but unfortunately, most of us are not equipped or ready for this new student when he or she is placed in our class. We lack even the most basic training we need to prepare us for this grotesque task. We get background knowledge about the different aspects of child development to improve their insight, but it does not prepare us as educators for what lies ahead. Sometimes we are stunned to hear about two children from the same family that is so very different. They have the same mother, the same father, the same grandmothers and grandfathers, are raised in the same house, and go to the same schools, but they are enormously different. One can easily be called Ray because it is like having a ray of sunshine with this child in your classroom. Then comes along the other one, and this one can easily be called Night because it is scary how dark the class atmosphere can suddenly become with this child's attitude. Ray is diligent, neat, does all the prescribed homework, and is truly helpful. Night does not know the meaning of the word homework. Procrastination is the order of the day. This child is always late, always in trouble, always busy with everything except what needs to be done. Because of our uniquely different characteristics, I decided to start my research in 1995 on the hemispheric specialization and its influence on the way we study. I realized that we needed to differentiate when we train up our students in the ways they should go, but it does not end there. Educators need to understand this concept to be successful educators. Suppose an educator does not know that each lesson plan needs to accommodate both the Ray students and the Night students. In that case, that educator will never be seen as a successful educator because half the class will not be reached. Students need to understand this concept as well to become successful students. If students do not understand the unique learning profile and do not use the correct study, they will never reach their optimum potential. Find out what your unique learning profile is, and follow the correct study map for your profile. No matter your age, you will be more successful in everything you undertake. Remember, we are never too old to learn something new. We are all uniquely different. Why should our method of study then be the same? In this teacher series, I want to help you determine your unique learning profile to understand human beings' unique differences and how these differences influence your way of study from here on forward. Mission: this teacher series' mission is to ensure that you are guided to optimal teaching by equipping you with a plan of action, which is 100% fitting to your students' unique learning profiles. Uncertainty of any sort will be eliminated and replaced with a total sense of certainty, a clear goal, a purposeful plan of action, results which represent the marks of students, corresponding to your input through effective teaching. Vision: this teacher series' vision is to help you familiarize yourself with your own unique learning profile and unique plan of study, which suits you 100% to ensure that you know precisely which techniques/methods to use and which strategies you should avoid in future studies. You can only help others if you can help yourself. The steps: if you are still uncertain about your own unique learning profile after working through all the videos in this series and want to find out more, you can follow these easy steps. Your students are also welcome to do the online test. I am the owner of a private school in South Africa, and every student in the school has to be tested. We then paste the unique learning profile picture at their desk to make it easier for the teachers to differentiate and acknowledge each student's uniqueness. Step 1. Visit www.braineducenter.com, click on the online test. Register, pay and do the online test. Step 2. I will now compile a plan of study for you, based on your unique learning profile. The plan of study will be emailed to the email address you provided with registration. In this plan of study, I will guide you to master your study skills. Step 3. I do have online training sessions for those who need things to be explained in more detail. You can register for any of my sessions, which you will find on the same website. The reason: we are all uniquely different. You need to know who you are and how unique your students are to guide them to reach their optimum potential. Some students spend hours using study techniques that do not work for them. Why waste precious time? If you know what works for them, you can focus on making sure they do not use the other techniques that do not work and prevent them from reaching their optimum potential in a shorter time frame. Examples of teaching techniques. Should your students 1. Use lots of colors or stay away from color when summarizing? 2. Do typical note-taking, or is it a total waste of time? If it is a waste of time, what must you do instead of note-taking? 3. Are some of them perhaps kinesthetic learners? Must we incorporate movement into their learning? If yes, how can we include it to not disrupt or disturb the other students in the class? 4. Must the student use patterns, shapes, forms, and stories or stay far away from patterns, shapes, forms, and stories? 5. Who are the very logical, analytical, and critical students? Will they need guidance in the way their note-taking must be done? 6. Do you have students with visual hindrances causing reversals of numbers or letters, 37 to be written 73, B becoming D, etc.? If yes, what can we do to improve the situation to make learning and reading easier? 7. Must they speak out loud when learning at home, or is it best for them to keep quiet? Some students must stay quiet, and some must say what they know. 8. Who are those students who can only hear if they can see the information as well? If they cannot see the work, they cannot hear. 9. Who can use mind maps, and who must stay far away from mind maps? Yes, some students will not benefit from mind maps. It will actually be detrimental for them to use mind maps. 10. Some students can only reach their optimum potential in learning if they use the vertical-horizontal column system. Who are those students? Do you know how the vertical-horizontal column system works? 11. Who battles with being homolateral? Who is already bilateral? How can we, as educators, improve this? 12. Who will benefit from using mnemonics, and must you stay away from mnemonics? 13. What about visualization and association? Does it work for all my students? This answer lies in the application of the scientific learning methods, otherwise, 50% of our students will be left confused. Summary: it is of the utmost importance that you find out what your students' unique learning profiles are, for you to guide them to reach their optimum potential. Only then will you be able to change stressful study into genuine successful study. This brings us to the end of the first video in the teacher series. Please like and subscribe that you do not miss out on the next videos, where I will go into great detail about what was briefly introduced in this video. Happy teachings, Annie.